Welcome to my channel. Today I'll be reviewing the Alcheringa Oracle deck, which is an Oneiromancy deck. I am Mary Iris Jane. If you're new to this channel, I am a tarot reader, teacher, and an artist. And yeah, we'll be looking at together what is Oneiromancy. I'll be looking at a few different cards and their symbolism so you can get a taste of this deck. I'll also be giving you a few suggestions of how to best make use of this deck. And make sure to watch until the end of this video because I'll be giving you a link to 5 tips from an artist to read tarot, which also applies to Oracle, and it gives you tips to read any artwork from any cards. And so just keep on watching to get to that. So the title of this deck is Alcheringa, and I did a little bit of research, and actually Alcheringa is a word that comes from the Australian language, which is indigenous, and so it means dream time. And then when we go to look for the definition of oneiromancy, if you've never heard of that before, it refers to the art of divination using our dreams, and it's about our ability to prophesize and our dream, and it's our ability to connect to spirit with our dreams. And so this is an oracle deck that's been made to connect to those dreams, to our subconscious mind, to connect to the imagery and the themes that come up in our dreams. I found that it's a really beautiful deck. The box is really beautiful. It has this white marbled kind of look on it with shimmery letters. And when I first saw this deck online, I was really curious about it, and that's what made me buy it. I was like, I really want to work more with my dreams and to dive more into their meaning and how we can interpret those dreams. And so that's what brought me to work with this deck here. So without further ado, let's go into the meaning of a few cards so you can get a taste of this deck. Hello there, so let's start with the first card I'm gonna be reviewing here, called The Away. And one of the first things that brought my attention forward and the cards was their border here, which I find really modern, really beautiful, and I really love the look of the colors together. They have a really cohesive look, kind of comic book like. And so with this first card here of The Away, it talks about our shadows and the dream time. We see a woman that is running away. She's like in her night jacket or something. It seems to be nighttime. And there is a big hand here that is shadowy and that seems to be grasping at the character here. And so I thought it was a really beautiful card that represents well in our dream state when we are running away from a monster, where we are running away from a shadow here. And so a really beautiful card here. It also represents well the emotional charge of what it must feel like to run away from something really scary. And so we're confronted to how we escape from our shadows here, which I find really interesting with this first card. We also have the past lives card here. Really beautiful contrast of colors with that bright orange and blue. There's a lot of play with orange, blue, yellow and pink in this deck, and they're just really really beautiful colors. I find them really appealing. And in this card here, we notice someone that is walking forward, their back towards us, the viewer, and the person has a big backpack that's full to the brim here. and the card is called Past Lives. And as we can see, each of the little bubbles here and the card can represent a past life. And so I thought it was really interesting that the artist depicted those bubbles and those different memories, right? There's something different in each bubble, and I thought it really represented well the weight of what it must feel like to remember past lives or remember past memories that we forgot. And so when this card pops up in a reading, it's mostly about how we might review or remember past lives within our dreams. And it's about issues and themes that involved our past lives or past memories. And so the third card here we have is Fear. And so I really wanted to review this card because it really makes me think of sleep paralysis. And this is a phenomenon I've experienced myself. And basically, when you experience sleep paralysis is you are still in your body and you can see around you, but you can't move, you can't talk, you can't scream. So it feels often very scary to be in this state because you can't move even though you have the perspective from being inside your body. So it's kind of like you're in between the awake state and the dream state. And people that experience sleep paralysis will often experience seeing shadowy figures or even little demons and things like that. So if you research dream paralysis, you'll see people often talks of figures that look like the ones in that card. And so the card is called Fear. So for me, just really embodied that feeling of fear, of panic that happens with sleep paralysis, and it felt like it was really well researched. And yeah, so we see three little trolls or demons that are kind of grasping at the heart here. And so we have one last card, and this one is called the Source. And within the Source card, we can see there's a head, and within that head there is multiple heads. And I really enjoyed reading the description of that card because it talked about the collective subconscious and how we are able within our dream time to access this collective consciousness and access the different archetypes, the different feelings and energies and identities and belief systems within that source consciousness. And so we can see in this card here that there is a little chimney in the middle with fume or smoke coming out of it, and then all the little heads are around that chimney. So for me, it really represents that, you know, when we have a dream, we're not just processing our own individual stuff, we're also digesting what's around us, our environment. We're digesting something that is collective and nature. And so we also see a snake on the ear here, and it represents mutation, our ability to change and shift with time. And in the description, again, it says that people who get this card have the ability to gift something to our collective society, right? Maybe something creative in nature, something theoretical in nature. And I think it's a really beautiful card. Again, I love the colors. They're really contrasting, and I find that they have a really beautiful balance between them and each of the cards. And so yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick look at those few cards so you get a taste of like what symbolism they use, you know, and what is the feel of this deck. So one thing I really admire about the Alcheringa Oracle deck is its ability to translate the emotional charge that is present within dreams. And so it takes a good look at the different themes that are in our dreams and really translate them well, in my opinion. The artwork is really beautiful. There's, a comic book kind of style to them, which I really enjoy, with the beautiful pastel colors. And there's also a bit of inspiration when we look at the box or at the cards from the Greek architecture, right? From the Pantheon, for example, and their Greek columns, which I really like, and you can see on the borders of the cards and on the front of the box as well. So, I would give really 10 on 10 for this deck. It's really beautiful to look at, it's very pleasing, and it's very on point too. And I find that you can use this deck not just for dream work, but you can also use it to complement your readings. Whether you use tarot cards in a reading normally, or you use a mix of tarot and oracle cards, you can always, pull a few cards from this deck, and I find that it gives you a different dimension to the reading. So my suggestion for using these cards would be, you could do a daily card, for example, every day when you wake up, to reflect on your dreams and see what comes up. Maybe do a little bit of journaling around what card you got and if you can remember your dreams, So these are really good cards to complement your dream work practice. And, a really good way to start a dream work practice is to simply record your dreams in a journal, or maybe on your phone. You can just pop an audio recording on your phone and talk about the dream you've had last night, and then pull a card to see how that relates to your dream. So that is something that I've tried in the first few weeks of having this oracle deck. And then another tip is to simply use this deck to not only reflect your dream time, as I said earlier, but to reflect your subconscious themes, right? So if you're wondering why certain patterns repeat in your life, maybe something subconscious feels like it's lurking around you and there's some energy that you're not sure about in a certain situation, right? And you're already doing tarot and oracle readings for yourself, then I really recommend using these cards to look at, okay, what is the subconscious pattern behind this? And then to pull a card and see what it reflects back to you. And again, I recommend journaling for diving deeper into that. So the link is going to be in my description box below to get your hands on the Alcheringa Oneiromancy Deck if you are interested in working with it. And I really recommend it. It's really beautiful. And if you're interested in diving deeper into finding the meanings of tarot cards, oracle cards for yourself, and maybe you feel a little bit stuck when it comes to interpreting the artwork and a card, then I invite you to sign up for my newsletter down below. And I have a video where I go through some tips from my artistic background, from going to fine arts school and studying art history, and there, there's some tips to just help you give a little oomph to your reading and to give more depth. So I really recommend that as well. And thank you so much for joining me today. Give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like these, and I'll see you next week for another video. I hope you have a beautiful end of your day. Bye.